First question goes to Orlando Sanchez with KGW Television. Go ahead, Orlando.
What's up, Dame? It's good to see you. First and foremost, how are you and your family doing? How was this off season? I know it's so different than years of the past. So how are things going, man?
It's going great. When we left the bubble, I pretty much was focused on just getting healthy and spending time with my son and my fiance, and, my mom and everybody. So it's just been a lot of family time for me, just hanging out. Once I got healthy, it only took like a week or two for me to start feeling comfortable. And I just been training ever since. I didn't really know when the season was going to come back, but I was assuming that it was going to be sooner than later. Everybody was saying February and March, and I heard everything, but I just kept telling myself, you need to be ready. And I'm glad I made that decision. So I just been training, spending time with my family, and just kicking back. So I'm excited to be back.
Okay, next question goes to Joe Becker with KATU Television. Joe, I believe it's your birthday today. Happy birthday.
Jim, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you very much, Dame. Dame, is there one thing that you learned from the bubble that's going to help you prepare for this season, especially not having fans?
I wouldn't say it's one thing I learned. I think just having the experience of playing with no fans, being in an empty arena, and just playing for the love of the game. You and your team is all you got. And I think going into the season, that's what we're going to have. And I think based off what we showed in that type of environment, we showed that we can be one of the better teams, when that presents itself. And we feel like we've added some pieces to our team that can really help us defensively, and I guess take some of the burden off of me and CJ and Nurk offensively because of what some guys bring. So I think we coming into it comfortable. We're excited, like I said, to be back. We're looking forward to this season. And, coming off our effort in the bubble, we feel like, that was a step in the right direction, especially after the kind of season we had to that point. But, we weathered the storm. We figured it out. We got ourselves in the postseason play. We met the best team, the team that ended up winning it. But now, we move forward. Get ready for it again.
Okay, next up is Nick Krupke from Fox 12. Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry if you missed that. Watching other pro sports since the bubble succeed or struggle in just dealing with the virus, what makes you confident that the group of guys you have staying connected and looking out for each other and each other's families will be able to weather this storm and make it through the 72 plus this year?
I mean, I think obviously you see everything with the NFL, how each week is like this guy's in the COVID protocol, this guy might not play, this guy's not playing. And I don't think that's always the player going and doing something he's not supposed to be doing. I remember even during the time where the pandemic first hit, there was people who, were following everything that they were supposed to be following and still ended up, somehow coming down with COVID. So guys could do the right thing, and we traveling city to city. We're gonna be in hotels, even though it's supposed to be blocked off for our teams. I think we'll come across situations where it's possible we could be exposed to something. Hopefully not, but I think it's a possibility just because of how we're gonna be moving around. But you would like to think that guys will be considerate of of our families and everyone else in the league and do their best to keep it inside and not be overly exposing themselves to the possibility of that happening and then bringing it to the arena or bringing it to the hotel or anything like that. So hopefully we coming into this knowing we got to handle our business. We already up against it, and you don't want to put everybody else in an even worse position by not being responsible.
Okay, next up we have Jason Quick from The Athletic.
Hey, Dane, what have the conversations between you and Neil been like regarding your career timeline and kind of where you're at now that you're 30?
I mean, for me, it's just, let's give ourselves a real shot, at winning it all. And I've been transparent with him about that. Just the fact that, we've done everything. I've been swept a few times. We've been out in the first round. We've been in the second round. We've been to the Western Conference Finals. We've got a lot of experience as an organization since I've been here, highs and lows. We've created a great culture. I think we've done just about everything except win it all. And I feel like we've had maybe two teams or, one or two teams that it was realistic for us to go and do it. I feel like the team with LA and Wes and Batum and all those guys, we had a realistic shot, and I feel like from top to bottom, we went into my third year feeling like, we can win it. And then I think the year we went to the Western Conference Finals, we legitimately felt like we could win it. But that's just what I've been communicating to him is, come on, man, let's really make a run for it. Let's go for it. And let's not, be the organization that says, oh, we made the playoffs this many years in a row. We've got a good culture. We've got this, let's put ourselves out there and, try to do whatever we can do to give ourselves a real shot. Let's try to bring that glory back to Portland. It's been, 50 years? How long has it been? 77. It's been a long time. And I want to be a part of that. I get up every morning and, I train my ass off. I take care of my body. I don't live a wild life. A lot of the steps that I take in my life is so that I could come out here and be at my best and play at the highest level so that I could win a championship for this organization and for this city. So I've communicated that to him, and how much it means and what my desire to do that is. And I think it's clear, and I think he's doing his best. I think he's really trying to do that as well, because it means something for him as well. So that's what the conversation has been. It's been transparent. And it's that simple. I think that's where all of our heads should be at this point.
Okay, next question goes to Aaron Fentress with the Oregonian. Go ahead, Aaron.
In terms of winning a championship, which you just stated again is your goal, how do you feel the off-season moves pushes you closer to that, specifically the additions of Covington and Jones and the defensive prowess they bring?
I think it improved our chances. And it's hard to say, I think everybody looks at every team that acquired big name players or, guys that we recognize, and you say, oh, they're going to be the best team, or this is what it means for them. And sometimes it's right. And sometimes it's, it's not what you think it's going to be when the time comes. And sometimes, you add a piece here, you add a piece there that's really complementary to your team. And, you might do what some people consider as overachieving, and you do more than what's expected, and you're capable of doing more. Just look at Miami. When they got Jimmy Butler, everybody said, that's a great pickup. He'll fit really well with them. But nobody said, all right, they might end up in the finals. So we're not the Miami Heat, but I think that's a great example of that. That says, you just never know. You don't know. And I think we've never had a problem scoring the ball. We've always been a good offensive team, and defensively is where we've been pretty inconsistent. And we've added two really good wing defenders, great athletes. They both have experience. They both take that challenge, and I think they elevate us on the defensive end of the floor. And on the offensive end of the floor, Covington is a very reliable three-point shooter, or certified 3-and-D guy. He can rebound. He's a good rim protector for a wing. He gets steals. He has experience. He knows what his role is. And then you look at Derrick Jones Jr., who's a super athlete, as athletic as anybody in the league. Great length. Loves to guard the best player on the opposing team. He can rebound. Just brings that excitement, and I think once you get to the postseason, and teams are giving myself and CJ all this attention, you got slashers and you got shooters and you got guys with feel, you know, that could bring something to the table and kind of change that for us. So if all goes well, you know, and they fit, you know, just right with our team, you know, it's possible. So we shall see.
Okay, next up we have AJ McCord from Coin 6.
Hey, Dame, so you talked about the fit, and one thing Enes told us was that you texted him pretty quickly after he got traded saying, hey, let's run it back. Let's do this for real. How much does the familiarity with the players like Enes, Rodney, Melo give you confidence that there's not going to be as much of a feel out period for this team?
I mean, I think that's the number one thing is, you know, you got guys who've been here. You know, we have experience with each other. We know each other. And we've been through some things, you know, especially after going through last year. You know, we didn't fold. We didn't point the finger at each other. We didn't blame anybody or nothing like that. We was able to still, you know, rock with each other heavy. You know, in the bubble, we spent time together, you know, every day. Not like we had a choice to leave the bubble, but we didn't have to be out, you know, seeking each other out, spending time together, watching film, talking, bowling, whatever the case may be, at the pool. You know, we didn't have to be doing that. So I think that shows our togetherness and the fact that, you know, we went through what we went through last season, got through it, and, you know, now we back here again. I think it'll make us stronger as a group, and put us in a better position to, you know, to come out and have a much better start and a much better season this year. As far as with Enes, you know, he was with us the year that we went to the Western Conference Finals. I got a lot of faith in him as our backup five, and, you know, what he can do, getting us extra possessions. You know, he cleaned that glass up, and he has a lot of ability, you know, especially when he's in there against second groups and things like that. You know, I think he provides a nice punch for us off the bench at the five. And what if we're not here focused on trying to get to that level, you know, get to that championship level, then what are we focused on? You know, what are we supposed to talk about?
Okay, next up is Casey Holdahl from Trailblazers.com.
Hey, Dave. A lot of kind of, you look at this offseason and you look at the players that the team has added, but I'm curious from your perspective, how do you feel like you're still growing as a player, or where do you feel like you kind of slot in amongst players in the NBA? Because I think people look at you and say like, well, he needs help, but I'm curious where you feel like you're at right now, kind of in relationship to kind of the upper levels of the NBA.
I mean, I think I'm up there at the top with the best players. And I think y'all know that's how I've always viewed myself, whether, you know, I thought that in my second or third year and I wasn't, you know, oftentimes you are who you see yourself to be, or you make it a possibility for you to become that. And I've always thought I was the best. And even at times where I probably wasn't, you know, when I look back at it, but because I thought that, I worked and I was, you know, seeking that and trying to show that. So I got better in that process. And now I think it's confirmed. You know, I'm one of the best players in this league, and I've proven it year after year, time and time again, and at the big moments where it needed to be shown. But I don't like when, you know, people are like, oh, he needs help and he needs this, and he, like, they said we needed help 2 years ago. The year before that, it was always we need help, you know. But I think the reality is we need to get better. You know, we all got to get better. We all got to take that challenge, and we all got to take responsibility for us not winning it. You know, just, people can say, you know, I might average 30 points last year and 8 assists and had a run in the bubble and all that, but that don't mean that I'm not flawed as a player, or I don't come up short sometimes, or I don't hurt the team sometimes. So just like I can get better, every guy on our roster could be better and do better, and, you know, be more focused and be sharper and do their job better, you know, be a star in whatever their role is more often and at a higher level, you know. But it's the same goes for me. So I think that's the issue, or that's the thing that I try to focus on more than what, you know, people are saying I need help and all that. You know, would I like to have a player that we know that has a name and notoriety and all those things come and help us, that'd be great. But that hasn't been our reality. So, there's no point focusing on that.
Okay, Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest has the next question. Go ahead, Dwight.
Hey, Dame, all these changes were made obviously with an eye toward improving the team defense, which was, obvious. But I'm wondering, do you anticipate changes in the way you guys defend now? You seem to be more versatile, have different types of defenders. Do you think you'll be more versatile defensively this year than maybe you've been in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the personnel we have now, having Nurk back, eventually getting Zach back, having two wings like we have, I think we'll be a much more versatile defensive team. We'll be able to, switch up our coverages and do some things different this year. And I think we did some things different in the bubble that was, it didn't show in our defensive numbers, but it was, beneficial for us. And I think we'll be better at it with the personnel changes that we made too.
Okay, Orlando Sanchez from KGW has the next question.
Dame, Neil O'Shea really highlighted the signing of Carmelo Anthony and bringing him back. How did you feel about Melo coming back? What does he bring to the table? Why is signing him such an important deal to this team?
Oh yeah, I was excited. I was talking to Melo pretty much every other day. Just trying to be realistic, about the situation, and he was being realistic about it as well. He wanted to come back. I wanted him to come back. All our teammates wanted him to come back. Terry wanted him to come back. We wanted it to get done. And I think Melo coming back, even when we got him last year, it's just a respect factor. When you play against teams and they size your team up, and some teams look at us, and they look at our starting lineup and they'll say, okay, we got to figure out how to stop Dame. We got to figure out CJ and then Nurk, but a lot of times when you play against these teams, it's like, do they respect you? Who's out there that they respect? And I think when you have Carmelo Anthony out there, regardless of the age or, whatever people say, it's a respect factor. People respect you different. And I think that's a big key for us, having that respect, people looking at us with a little bit more respect. And then just what he brings to the table. You see in the bubble, he's a big shot maker. He's a future Hall of Famer, and it's that belief, that veteran voice, and having that in the locker room is really good for our team. And somebody we can also throw the ball to, and in big moments, and ISO or trust his instincts and have him on the floor to finish games, whatever the case may be. When you got somebody like that, it's a big part to a team.
Okay, Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest has the next question.
Dame, there was some chatter this offseason that Portland needed to bring in a backup point guard. So one, what do you have to say to that? Two, what have your conversations been like with Ant this offseason?
I saw somewhere where Neil said, we do have a backup point guard, Anthony Simons. And I agree with that because in the summer, I worked out with Ant a few times this summer, when we in the same place, we work out together with the same trainer. And Ant is super talented. It's just he came in the league young, and it takes time. It takes experience, and it just takes time. You're playing against the best in the world, grown men. He didn't play in college. You just got to give him a chance. And I think he played more minutes last year than he did his rookie year. He was out there at big moments. He had a big shot against Philly last year. So he proved that, he can be out there and help the team. It's just a matter of, being able to think the game fast, being able to be consistent, being able for the team to count on you regularly, not just this night or that night, every night. But I don't think it's a backup point guard that, we would go out there and get that would, be a better player than Ant, you know, as far as somebody that, like, you don't want to go get a player that you got to play, you know, 25 minutes when, you know, I'm going to be playing point guard at least 35, 36 minutes. And then, you know, CJ is going to be playing some point guard. So, like, why would we go and try to get, you know, I don't know what a big backup point guard name would be at this point that, you know, Rondo, whoever. Why would you try to go do that when you don't know how many minutes you're going to be able to give him and you have a young, talented, super athletic, highly skilled young guard that if you need those, you know, spot minutes or some minutes to be played at that position, you can put him out there, you know, and you need to give him that opportunity anyway, because he's worked for that at least. So, you know, I heard it, but, you know, I believe in Ant, you know, personally, I believe in Ant.
Okay, next, excuse me, next question goes to Sean Hyken with Bleacher Report.
Dame, you talked earlier kind of about the overall just, you know, thoughts about like what players are going to be doing during the season as far as staying safe. How are you? I mean, you've got a young kid at home and your wife is pregnant. Also, like, how are you feeling personally about the health risks of like going around the country and traveling and putting yourself kind of at risk of catching this thing, you know, given just, you know, having your family at home?
I mean, I've had hundreds of tests at this point, and you know, I've been fortunate enough to stay negative, and I've done that just by not being anywhere that I don't have to be. You know, like I said, I go from the gym to the house, gym to the house, to my mom's house, my brother's house, back home to the gym, you know, things like that. And anywhere that I train, I'm training in, you know, protected, safe, clean environments. Anywhere that I go is a protected, safe, clean environment. So when we start traveling and we start moving around, I'm gonna remain, you know, focused on the same thing. I'm not gonna move around like everything is okay. Once we get to the hotel, I'm gonna probably be eating room service or, you know, just keeping it in. And then we go test at the arena or wherever we're gonna do in the morning. And then until game time, like, I'm gonna be just chilling. You know, it's one of those things where if people don't want to just sacrifice and just be disciplined right now, then it's gonna continue. But if we gotta sit down and, you know, be more cautious and, you know, do what we gotta do to protect ourselves and the people around us, then I feel like it can get taken care of and get handled sooner than later, you know. So I think people just gotta be aware of that, man, and, you know, don't stop always wanting to be everywhere and doing everything. Just, you know, sit down and, you know, let things play itself out instead of, all right, you want to go to this restaurant, I want to go here, I want to go there, and now you bringing it to other people, and it, you know, the cycle continues. So for me, I'm just going to do my best to stay out the way, man, and stay put and just focus on playing. You know, if anything, I think it'll help me because I like just being able to just kick back, you know, rest my mind and my body and just get ready to play. So it'll be, you know, it'll be cool for me. You know, I'm sure my family would love that anyway. Like, man, sit down somewhere. Sure, they'll be excited.
Okay, next question goes to Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Hey, Dane, several of the guys mentioned that you reached out to them after they signed with Portland. Can you maybe explain what your aim or your goal is in that initial kind of reach out to players? And did you do it to every single new guy that came?
I think it's one of those things. I think it's very well known that when I have teammates, I get tight with my teammates. Like, I care about them as people. If it was up to me, we'd have had the same team we had. We'd still have Sasha Pavlovich on our team if it was up to me. Because I just don't like, you know, parting ways. You know, once I get to know people and I form relationships and bonds with people. But I think it's one of those things where once, you know, me and Trevor was tight, you know. So once the trade happened, you know, and everybody knew that, I didn't want it to be like I'm mad, you know. Obviously, I never wanted to see him go, but I'm not gonna hold that against, you know, someone who's my teammate now. And, I want them to come here comfortable and able to do their job and know that they welcome and know that I'm gonna roll with them because they're my teammate. And if when they come here, I know people, they expecting to hear from me because I'm the point guard. I'm the captain on the team. So I got to make sure that I take that initiative and make that point right away. So I mean, whether it was D Jones or Rocco, Ennis, obviously we talked about that one already. Whoever, I'm gonna make contact, and welcome them, because that's how we do things here.
Okay, next up is Aaron Fentress with the Oregonian.
A lot of the moves that were made added a lot of versatility to this roster. Have you at all spent any time thinking about all the different potential possible lineups and makeups of what you guys can do on the court as a group?
Not really. I mean, this is gonna be my 9th year, and for the last 5 years, every year, when we come in, I'm always looking like, we can do this, and we got this now, and we can do this. But I'm just kind of past that. Like once we get out there, let's roll it out. Let's see what it looked like, and let's see what it actually is. Like we'll see. We got a preseason game in 5 days, so it ain't gonna take long for us to. We're gonna see the lineups. We're gonna see in practice what we got out here, and that'll be the day for me.
Next up is Nick Krupke from Fox 12.
Dan, you mentioned you're such a family guy and you enjoy your time at home, but there's a little bit of us all at some point working from home, kids at home, going stir crazy. So what fulfillment do you have to be able to go to the facility in Tualatin and hear the sneakers squeaking again and being back with your guys and working towards something?
I mean, it's nothing that's changed for me. Like I've been training the whole time. So I get up when did we leave the bubble? June, July, August? It was like end of August? Is that when we left the bubble? Whenever, like a week and a half after that, 2 weeks after that, I was training. Ever since I've been getting up every morning at 7, doing my lifting and conditioning, and then I go get on the court at 9, and I go home, play with my son, watch some TV shows with my fiance, and talk to my mom, go pick up some sushi, come back, like watch more TV, play the game. Like I've been on the same thing, and I've been training and in the gym since. So the environment, it's always fun, and it's always good to see everybody when we get back together. You can tell everybody's excited because it's a fresh start. We back at the beginning again. So that's always good, but it's been last several months, man, it's been the same thing every day for me.
Okay, Casey Holdall has the next question from trailblazers.com.
Damian, where do you, or how do you feel like the West looks this year? Obviously, quite a bit different than it looked starting last season. And also, I'm curious, as a guy who's into boxing, what do you think about Nate Robinson getting knocked out?
I think the West looks strong. The West looks super strong, but it's always been strong. I think you're gonna have some teams that are better than what you expected. You're going to have some teams that aren't as good as what everybody expects. And then you're going to have a few teams that you like, they did what they do. But I mean, the West, I think, is what it's always been, what it has been over the years. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be important for us to get off to a good start. And I think we will. I think our team we're going to be sharp. I don't see us repeating the start from last year this season. So I think we'll be sharp. We'll be off to a good start, and the West is going to be tough again. As far as Nate, I think what he did was bold. He went and got in the ring, and a lot of people don't got the nuts to do that. So respect to him for doing it. You go into the fight game, all it takes is one punch, and anything can happen. And I think it's on one side you gotta respect fighters, or respect the sport. Let fighters fight. And You know, they some of them train their whole life to be fighters. You know, some of them, that's all they do is, you know, they in the gym sparring and they in the gym working on their footwork and they jab and they hooks and they uppercuts and absorbing punches and keeping their neck strong and keeping their chin right. Like, that's what they do. And I think it was a bold move by him. And you know, everybody's making a big thing out of it because it was Nate Robinson, but you know, people get knocked out in the gym every day, you know, in the boxing gym every day because it's a part of that sport. And he chose to participate in that sport, and he just came up on the wrong end of it. And I watch boxing so much that I don't view it the same way everybody else does. I guess because I know that that's a part of the fight game.
We got home from the bubble on August 30th, Dan.
Okay.
Next up is Jason Bondersmith with the Portland Tribune.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, sorry, Damian. Hey, obviously this organization has moved forward with yourself, premier all-star player, but also CJ, another backcourt mate. I mean, in the history of the NBA, there's always been real great twosomes, sometimes three guys that have elevated a team to a championship. Do you and CJ talk about that?
Not in this era.
What's that?
Not in this era.
Not in this era. Kobe, Shaq. Last year it was LeBron and AD. Do you and he talk about NBA championship? Like, hey, this is our time. We're in our prime. We got a balanced roster. You and him?
I mean, not really this year. I mean, me and CJ, we always talk about winning it because we know what it would mean for the organization, the city, and we know what it would mean for us. So we just talk about winning it. We don't get in these, you know, big, deep, crazy conversations. You know, we just try to do our work and we come to get it done. You know, there's really not a whole lot to say about it. You either show up and you show that that's what you want to do, or you don't. You know, but I think now, like you just said, AD and Bron, you know, but there was like Rondo's out there, and Caldwell Pope is out there, and Dwight Howard is out there, and JaVale McGee is out there, and Kyle Kuzma, and one of the Morris twins, and you know they deep. Danny Green been on 3 different championship teams now, so like in this area, it ain't just like 2 guys out there because you gotta be really deep. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a really deep, experienced team to win. So. You know, I think we have 2 guys, and myself and CJ, that are very capable of leading the team to a championship. And we also have a pretty deep roster right now that it could very much happen, very well happen. And that's what I mentioned earlier when I said, you know, nobody ever knows until it gets to that point. You know, and I think we have a team now where it's like, all right, we got this, we got that, we got this, we got that. If it comes together right, and if it's clicking right, and you know we on top of things and doing what we should be doing, then it can happen. You know, but we do know it's possible. You know, we do know it's possible.
Okay, next question goes to Jason Quick with The Athletic.
And what do you guys have to do to be better defensively? Like, does it go beyond just having better players now?
Yeah, I think we just got to be committed to it. We got to be committed to it. I think we've kind of fall into, you know, how good our offense is sometimes. And, you know, it gets us in trouble, you know, when it's not, I guess, functioning at the highest level and we defending at a low level. You know, that's an average team, you know, which is what we were last year. And I think me and CJ got to take the challenge more on defense. I think over each year of my career, I think I've improved defensively. I think CJ would say the same thing. But, you know, I think this year, to really take that step that we want to take, we both got to take the challenge on a different level defensively this year. And we got to make sure that, you know, we are holding ourselves accountable and on the level of everybody else on the defensive end. If we make that a priority and we show true, consistent commitment to that. And, you know, we become a team that, you know, are on a string and are disciplined and focused on playing the scouting report, knowing tendencies, rebounding together, helping each other. You know, I think if we can be that team consistently, you know, then we'll do great.
Okay, we got time for just a few more. Next question goes to Nick Zaccardi with NBC Sports. Go ahead, Nick.
Thanks, Dame. With the NBA Finals in July running up close to the Olympics, will you make yourself available for Olympic team selection if the Blazers make a playoff run?
Possibly. I don't know 100% yet. See what that look like. That's around my birthday. Hopefully we in the finals. But if we go to the finals and win it, I ain't playing. If we win the finals, I'm not playing the Olympics, but you know, we'll see.
Okay, next question goes to AJ McCord with Coin 6.
Hey, Dame. So we haven't really gotten a chance to sort of debrief the bubble experience, but you talked about just the camaraderie and the closeness and what it required of you guys to be all together in that time. I'm wondering if you could reflect a little bit on what that time meant to you personally, but then also going through it with the team while the world was going through what it was and you guys were making the statements that you did.
Yeah, I think it was to me it almost felt like college, because it was in college I lived with my teammates and spent, you know, pretty much all my time off the court with my teammates. So it was like we'd go from practice, get on the bus together, go back to the hotel, go eat together. All right, go back to our room, shower, then we'll go back downstairs for dinner together. Then we go sit by the pool and be there. Then we'll go straight to our room, go to sleep, wake up, go to the video room, eat breakfast, go through walkthrough, play the game. After the game, get on the bus together. And then we all would go to the pool and sit in the cold tub right after the game. So it was just like, we did everything together. So it was my first time in my NBA career where it was like, I could actually monitor everything that, you know, my teammates was doing. Like, we was together all the time. I could walk by somebody's room and I could hear them playing music or playing a game, or you can hear them on the phone, or you see them getting their hair cut, or whatever the case may be. You can just kind of see it. And it wasn't like, you know, all right, when we leave the practice facility, somebody might be going to the movies or going out to eat, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You never know. It was my first time seeing that and being around them, you know, that much, that consistent. And I just felt like we was connected, because a lot of times we would sit in the cold tub and talk like, man, if we get this one tomorrow, this would be a big win. And then, you know, we got to guard this person and I'm guarding him. And tomorrow we got to rebound. Like, we was just locked in, and we was locked in together. Like, we would be at the pool and our video guys would bring a bunch of iPads out to the pool at the tables, and we would take over like 5 tables and then just have iPads lined up with all the games that was going on. And we'd just be watching, talking about the games, talking hoop, eating, watching the team that we're going to play next, and just, you know, amongst ourselves, just talking about what we needed to do and how we needed to stay locked in, and, you know, what our goals were. So that was a lot of fun. You know, I think that was, you know, it almost took us away from, like, you know, the real issues that the world was facing. You know, we were in a closed environment where, you know, we was testing and we were protected, you know, from getting COVID or anything like that. You know, we were away from, like, we didn't have to stay in our homes. You know, it almost freed us. Like, you know, people say they go to the gym to work out, and when they're on the court, it's like it's an escape for them. You know, I think the bubble kind of provided that for us. And then, you know, after a few months, I think I can speak for everybody when I say it was like, all right, you know, I got to see my family. I got kids. I got a wife. Like my mom, my brother, my sister. It got to that point. And I think that's why, you know, that's probably part of why we're not going to be in the bubble this year, if I had to guess.
Okay, final question goes to Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Dame, what do you think it will take for Yusuf to become an all-star? He's kind of voiced that And do you think that's a good thing for him to aim toward?
You said he voiced it?
Yeah.
I mean, in my experience, you know, when I played with LA, I made the All-Star team twice with LA. Once I made it outright. The second time I was a reserve as a injury replacement. And you got to win. You know, I think each time, you know, we had to win games. And I had to really be contributing to what our team was getting done. And obviously I'm the point guard, so that, you know, that worked out perfect for me. But I think the biggest key is he has to, you know, have a big impact on winning. And if we're not a winning team, you know, we may get one in there, like we've been getting the last few years, and we've been winning. So we've been a 3 seed, you know, we were a 3 seed twice in a row and only got one. So, you know, on our team, I think we would have to be like 1, 2, or 3 and like really dominating. And it's possible, you know, if we're a 1 seed and we dominate, we might be able to do 3. You know, some teams have done 3, and, you know, I saw the Hawks one year was just killing it, and they had 4 or 5. So I think it's possible because he's that level of a player. You know, he has that kind of ability and impact on our team. We just got to win.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you, as always, Dame, for the time. Just a reminder.
Man.